Welcome, everybody, to the Spring Loaded Football Podcast, a show about Spring League football. My name is Colonel Brian Sutton. I'm an honorable Kentucky colonel, and I'm joined today by my buddies Wayne and Jerad. Wayne, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Brian.
Jerad, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
And the USFL this week, on top of their draft, released their uniforms. And we all three put together a list of all eight and how we ranked them. And Jerad, I'm going to go to you first. I'm going to let you discuss your eight rankings of these uniforms.
Well, starting off with my number 8, it was New Jersey. They kind of just, I don't know. All the jerseys look good, the colors, the schemes, and everything. But the generals just kind of look, old fashioned to me. Philadelphia is my number 7. Again, did stand out. Now here's one I should have put higher up on the list, but Pittsburgh, the color scheme and everything they had going for them was great. Tampa Bay Bandits, I really like theirs. Michigan, love the color scheme for them. My top 3, number 3 is New Orleans, and theirs was very good. And then Stallions, sticking with the red and white. Hey, gotta love. I'm from Alabama. Gotta love the Stallions, Birmingham Stallions. My number 1 pick was the Houston Gamblers. The black and gray look wonderful, and they're one of my top teams. I want to go see them go all the way.
All right. Now we're going to shoot to Wayne. Wayne, what was yours?
Well, I kind of went with the Panthers at number 8 just because I can't dig the color scheme. How can you have a Panther team mascot and not have black in there? But for number 7, I went with the Tampa Bay Bandits. I was hoping for a black uniform, something that would kind of remind me of Smokey and the Bandit, since Burt Reynolds was an original owner. I was so hoping for a solid black home uniform. But at number 6, I went with the Pittsburgh Maulers just because it looks too much like an arena football team to me. The colors, the way the uniform's laid out. I mean, it's something different from every other team in there, but just couldn't dig it. At number 5, I went with the Philadelphia Stars. And the only reason I did them at 5 was, I don't know, the caution tape look on the legs. It just it just screams something to me I don't like. And then I went with the New Jersey Generals. And I like their uniforms. I love the logo on the shoulder pads. That looked pretty cool, and you can't disagree that they don't have a good logo. And then
for sure.
And then for number 3, I went with the Houston Gamblers. Like Jerad said, the black and gray. How can you go wrong? That's a good look on that. And then the highlights are red in there. And then number 2, the Birmingham Stallions. It just reminds me of the old classic 49ers from the 90s. And it's so clean looking. I mean, just classic looking uniforms to me. And then for number 1, the color scheme with the breakers with the blue, 2 different color blues. The helmet is what really looked good because they took the logo and put it on the helmet without just putting the logo on the helmet.
Right.
So, I mean, that's something different. Most teams will just put like a little circle of the logo on there, but they incorporated it into the shape of the helmet. Plus, it's different color schemes because it's not a red-based team.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know my picks, number 8 was the Philadelphia Stars. I thought the color scheme was just awful. I didn't think anything really went together. Thought they could have done a lot with it, and they just didn't do it.
It reminds you of the Love's
Number
truck
7,
stop.
I picked. Yeah, exactly. And then when I think football, I don't want to think gas stations. So, but number 7, I picked the Michigan Panthers. I thought it was just plain, nothing special at all for a team that's coached by a well-known coach in Fisher. And I thought they could have done something a lot better with that. And like you said, it needed a little black in it. Had when you think Panthers, you think black, and that is not what we got. Number 6, I went a little
talking
bit
about
different.
Jeff Fisher.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hope he does good. He's a good coach. He's 500 in the NFL. So
for the people that don't know, Brian has a huge man crush on Jeff Fisher right now.
Yeah, it's the mustache. So, and I differed with y'all a little bit. I went with Tampa, number 6. I thought it looked fine, but I wasn't really overly impressed with it. And with the Burt Reynolds thing, now that you said that, maybe I should have moved him up a little bit, but I didn't. I went with number 6, went with Tampa, and number 5, I went with New Jersey. I thought they looked fine, just middle of the pack. The logo was fantastic, but as far as just the jerseys, I thought it was just run of the mill, plain, nothing special. Number 4, I went with Houston. Thought they done a fine job. I thought it looked really good. Again, nothing really special with them. Number 3, I went with Pittsburgh and y'all rated them a little bit lower than I did, but I thought the color scheme was fantastic. And Wayne, you had mentioned that you thought it reminded you of a arena football league, and I like that. I think it's just something different, and it's going to make them stand out.
It is different from everybody else's.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that's good. I think maybe that's what this league needs is something to stand out.
It's going to have something to stand out from all the other leagues that's coming in and already established.
Right. Number 2, I went with Birmingham. Again, like you said, classic 49ers look. I thought they done a great job keeping it real simple.
It's just clean.
Clean. They done it right. They done simple right. And, sometimes people mess that up. Number 1, went with New Orleans. Thought everything was perfect. Like you said, the helmet design, they didn't just stick the logo on there. They made the helmet the logo. And just love the color scheme. Think it fits New Orleans. And I think they've done a really good job.
Well, when you think about the ocean, you think about their colors.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, those blues and everything.
Right. Everything just fit.
And like I said, the color scheme is so much different because what is it? Pittsburgh, New Orleans. Who's the other one that ain't got red in their color? Are they the only 2?
Michigan.
Well, that's still kind of a red because it's a royal plum, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it looks purple to me, but yeah. So really,
like a wine color.
So really, they ain't but 2 that's going to stand out from the red colors.
Right, because you'd have to think like even they're going to have home and away jerseys and everything, but if New Jersey and Birmingham's playing, they're going to have some of the same colors, and like if they're playing Pittsburgh, you're going to know that it's Pittsburgh.
Well, that's
There's no
the thing,
chance of being confused.
Well, that's the first game is New Jersey and Birmingham, April 16th.
Right, and we're going to be there. So if you're going to be there and you listen to the podcast, look for us. We'll be around. We'll be glad to talk to you.
Especially if Coach Cooper over there can get out of his little league games.
Hey,
right? Yeah, if we can get Coach on board, we'll have a good time for sure.
Always.
It'll be a Mardi Gras party down there with him.
I will be signing shirts if y'all want me to. Maybe I'll bring Sharpie.
Yeah, if anybody wants anything signed, we'll be glad to do it. I don't know why you would, but if you do, we'll be glad to sign it. So
You never know. You never know, man.
Long,
You got to throw that out there.
as long as it's not a legal document.
Mm.
right, yeah, we don't want anything that binds us to any kind of agreement. So. But guys, the USFL yesterday started their draft. They've done the first couple rounds, and we're going to talk about just the quarterbacks taken in the first round. And starting us off, we had the Michigan Panthers with the number 1 overall pick, and they picked Shea Patterson, quarterback out of Ole Miss in Michigan, mostly known for his Michigan work. And he was a fantastic college quarterback. And it really surprised me that he was even in the draft pool. I didn't know. I thought he might have been signed to an NFL team as a backup or something.
Well, that's the whole shocking thing about the draft is you didn't know who the players were. And you had a list of some names that were in there, but you didn't know all of them. And the ones that got drafted, from what I could find on the internet, was not listed on the draft pool.
Right, and it might have been just a fake, list just to throw us off. And they did,
Which there was a few names picked in the first round, like Ben Holmes and ones like that, but most of these guys wasn't on it.
Right. And like I said, Shea Patterson's got a pedigree. Like I said, he won some games at Michigan. He pretty much was the foundation of what Harbaugh has done, it seems like, in his program. He was a fantastic quarterback.
Well, he was also at Ole Miss under Hugh Freeze.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And Hugh Freeze is known for throwing the football. And, with him being his quarterback, obviously he can throw the football. So I think that's a pretty good pick by Michigan. I think it's a good building block. You got to have a good quarterback to have a good team. And number
they should
2
have a pretty good team, especially with Fisher leading him.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we'll head on to number 2. Tampa Bay Bandits drafted Jordan Ta'amu, quarterback from Ole Miss. Again, watching some highlights of him. I watched him when he played in college. Really good quarterback. So I think it's a solid pick for Tampa at number 2.
He also started for St. Louis Battlehawks. Was their starting quarterback.
Right. Yeah, former XFL 2.0 quarterback, and was a standout in that league when they played,
Oh, yeah. And his senior year, man, he racked up the passing yards. He had 1,779 passing yards with 29 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So, I mean, he's a passer, but hey, he could probably sling the ball.
Well, I mean, you got to throw it to win in any league. You can't just 3 yards in a cloud of dust anymore,
Well, what got me was you had really 2 former Ole Miss quarterbacks taking 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, first 2 picks, I think they're great picks. Some of these guys I don't know. Being honest with everybody, we've watched highlights about these guys that got drafted first, but like this next guy, number 3, Philadelphia Stars drafted Brian Scott, quarterback from Occidental. I ain't never heard of him. Again, watched some highlights of him. Looks like he's going to be a very talented quarterback.
Yeah, that's the thing. Some of these kids you ain't ever seen play before from your area.
Right, because they're just
especially
not,
with us
on
being
TV.
Especially us being from SEC country, you mostly watch the SEC teams.
Exactly. I mean, and that's how everybody is. More than likely they watch whatever's around them or what they grew up on. And thankfully for us, with the SEC, everybody watches it. So,
yeah.
But going next, number 4 overall, the New Jersey Generals selected Ben Holmes, quarterback from Tarleton State. Again, another quarterback I hadn't ever heard of. But watching his highlight films, I don't see how this boy is not going to be the MVP.
Well, if you watch that spring league highlight video, man, he could throw it in some tight spots.
And like I said, one highlight video I watched of him, man, he looks like he probably should have been number one overall. I understand why they took Shea Patterson, but man, Ben Holmes, he's my vote for MVP before the league starts. So, Jerad, you get a chance to watch any of his highlights or anything?
I didn't really get to watch, and I watched the next one. Coming up on.
Well, let's go to it. Number 5, we've got the Houston Gamblers selecting Clayton Thorson, quarterback from Northwestern. Again, a quarterback from a big school, big conference. Jerad, what did you think about him?
Hey, in my book, he's a double threat. He can pass, he can run the ball. I mean, I just kind of look back at, I'm going back to his high school. I mean, his passing yards, 2,809. 29 passing touchdowns, 630 yards, and 12 rushing touchdowns. I think he's going to be a double threat. He's going to be one of those guys, if he gets loose on the outside, he's gone.
If they that's a good thing to have.
He's going to be one of the ones. I mean, I like the Gamblers. He's going to be one of those quarterbacks I'm going to be watching because in my book, he's pretty dang good.
That's going to be the thing with the spring leagues is defense. You're going to have to probably throw everything at the kitchen sink at them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I imagine lots of blitzes.
So if you got a dual threat quarterback, you can get around that blitz maybe.
Oh, yeah. He's just one of those I watched a little bit. I ain't had a lot of time to watch all of them, but he was one of the ones that kind of stood out to me, and just watching him run and pass and throw, and that's why I wanted to go back and see his high school career, kind of what he did when he was, coming up into the game and stuff, getting into those high school games and stuff. And man, it shocked me at the yards.
He had good numbers for sure.
Oh yeah, excellent.
And going on to number 6, the Birmingham Stallions drafted Alex Magoo, quarterback, Florida International. Now, again, I haven't heard of him. I didn't know anything about him. Watched a little bit of highlights. Seems like a, solid quarterback. Bo Jackson actually was the one that announced the draft pick at the player selection meeting, and thought that was pretty cool, even being an Alabama fan,
Yeah, I mean, if you're from Alabama, you like Bo Jackson, at least how tough he was. So having him involved with the Stallions last night, it was something big.
Well, it's a big deal. I mean, like you said, even if you're an Alabama fan, you have respect for Bo Jackson. So having him do that makes this league seem bigger. And I think that's a good thing because they need it.
Well, that's the thing is, if you're going to play in Alabama, you got to play hard and you got to be tough.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
That's what gains everybody's respect, because you look at all the Alabama greats, Auburn greats, it was kids that gave their all and played hard.
And never gave up, too. Never quit.
Yep.
The John Cena method.
Oh yeah.
So,
except we hope we can see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. We really need to see them. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Up next, number 7, we had the Pittsburgh Maulers draft Kyle Laletta, quarterback from Richmond. Watched his highlights just before we got on to record. Seemed pretty good. Again, solid quarterback. I don't think any of these guys look terrible. Wayne, did you get a chance to watch him?
You can tell they were. I didn't get to see a whole lot of them. I got to see some of them. He's a pretty good looking quarterback. And Richmond, for what are they? What is it? They call it FCS?
Yeah, they're Division.
They're a pretty decent team.
3, whatever. Yeah, the Spiders, Richmond Spiders, I think.
Ooh.
And like I said, some of these first overall picks, you had like some pretty big name college players, which kind of shocked me from what you was looking at in the draft pool, like what was listed.
Right. I mean, like from what we saw, what was supposedly in the draft pool was pretty much unknown players, underutilized talent. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this was a surprise seeing some of these bigger names.
And the bad part is you can
So
take all these guys' highlight videos, and if you string together highlights over a season, anybody's going to look like a superstar.
Oh yeah.
well, that's true. It's a highlight reel. They're not showing the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
why I went back
So
to the
let's
high
see what they
school.
can do during the games whenever the season starts.
right, Jared, did you
Jerry's
get a
going to be
chance to check
looking
him
up
out
his
any?
8U football.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My AU football, yeah. Along with the baseball too. Baseball season down here.
But the last pick of the first round from the New Orleans Breakers was Kyle Slaughter, quarterback from Northern Colorado. Again, don't know much about him. Watched a few clips of him. Again, pretty solid quarterback. Guys, did y'all watch anything on him? Do y'all know anything I don't?
No, I didn't get to watch any on him.
No, no, I was too bad worried about what our Stallions quarterbacks were going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, like I was, nothing bad against this man, but he's the last quarterback selected. Obviously, it's in the first round, but I thought I was more concerned about looking at the other talent. Why would you be drafted first and stuff like that?
Well, what got me is they're going to be good talent. I mean, you can, like I said, you can look at these highlight clips and see what they can do. And hey, from
Oh
what
yeah,
little bit
yeah,
I got to see, he's pretty good quarterback.
and like I said, it's going to take time, and it depends what other players they have around him, and we just don't know. They drafted many more players on the team over last night. I think it didn't get over with until like 11 o'clock our time, and they finished
Yeah.
up the draft today. We'll cover some more of that next week. We just wanted to cover the quarterbacks because typically they're going to be your biggest stars.
Oh yeah. They're gonna be your leaders.
And and some of the draft kind of was confusing today with people passing, like what are they going to pick and take, and then
Right.
you
I
got what
mean,
is
like,
it they
because
called it, the
supplemental draft, right?
yeah, that's coming up what in March, where they can pick three
Yeah.
more players at least.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
And
cover that
some
in
of
the
these you
news a
got
little
to
bit later.
and some of these you really got to wonder, like with 38-man roster, because some of these quarterbacks are going to get beat up during the games.
Oh yeah, you gotta have a
Yes.
backup.
Are they going to have enough?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Running
and they
backs,
got the
everything.
backups picked in round 12, but with 38-man roster, that's going to be tough. Some people may be having to play Iron Man.
Yeah. You're going to have to hope that you're going to stay healthy because, you got a 7-man practice squad. God forbid you get 7 people injured and you don't have a
Yeah,
practice squad. So I don't know how that's going to work out if they're going to be able to sign people that are just available or what's going to happen. I'm sure we'll find out later on.
it's going to make it interesting for the season.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, because anytime anybody goes down,
Well,
everybody's
who?
gonna be looking around and who's coming in.
Get the kicker. Get the kicker.
Mhm. Well, who was it? The Redskins that had so many people out on COVID this year.
Yeah,
So if there is another COVID outbreak with one of these teams where it gets a few players, that's going to be interesting too.
I mean,
they'll probably shut it down for a while because everybody's living in the same hotel. So
I mean, just throwing that out here,
know,
me and Wayne will walk on. You ain't got to pass much. We can play some good, offense, defense.
that's good. You don't want to be paid much because they're not going to. So,
well, hey, it's for the fun
my
of the
prime
sport.
time. My prime time was about 20 years ago when Clinton was in office.
yeah, back surgeries and stuff took me out of football, so I'm done.
But you can be a commentator.
That's why I'm talking about it. Yeah, that's why I'm talking about
it. I don't even think we would make the cheerleading squad at our age.
Oh, come on. No, we ain't that bad.
We're going to be happy to just make it to the game and walk out and not be hurting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just going to the game and sitting and watching it. I hope I don't get an injury.
Yeah, we don't want to twist our ankle going down the steps or get a backache sitting there on them bleachers.
Fighting over going to get a hot dog or something.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I will fight for food.
It's got to be a good hot dog.
I'm saving what fight I got left in me for food in the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right, let's transition to this segment. We're going to cover some news around the spring league football world. Jerad, I'll let you take over.
All right, upcoming events and announcements. February the 28th, fan-controlled football will be hosting a tryout in Atlanta. Players' requirements: 18 years old, must be a U.S. citizen, and must be fully vaccinated for COVID-1. Also, a college graduate or professional experience is encouraged. Tryouts will be 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for registration. 9:30 to 11:30 will be I can't even say that. The testing, 40-yard dash, shuttle, board jump, and all that. And then 11:30 to 3:30 will be positioning drills. X League is coming back. Tickets will go on sale March the 1st. Check out xleague.live website for more info. Also, a supplemental draft is scheduled for March 10th with an additional 80 players selected to fill up the 3 final roster spots in the 7-man practice squad.
And that's going to be the interesting thing, is seeing what this supplemental draft actually looks like. I mean, an additional 80 players to fill up 3 more spots and 7 practice squad spots. And that might be where the team is built right there. Because, like you said, with the injuries and stuff, you're going to have to get a good practice squad because they're just almost going to be waiting for something to happen.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to have backup.
Wouldn't it some teams don't have a kicker or punter right now?
Yeah. Some teams don't have a long snapper, don't have a kicker or a punter. And to me, that just shows you how much they value the kicker and the punter. But again, they're building a team from scratch. So you would obviously focus on other players first. But, unless you're going for it for 2 points every time you score, you're going to need a kicker,
Oh, yeah. You need somebody. I mean,
punters are very valuable. I mean, you can turn the field and make it harder for the other teams to score and stuff.
I dare say you put your defense in good position nowadays. You're doing pretty good,
right? I mean, because the way some of these quarterbacks play, and if they can get on the outside and run, you want to make them run longer than shorter. If they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you look at what was it, the Super Bowl. What was it, a minute or something, 2-3 minutes that they run the ball down and scored?
Yeah.
So field position and time,
Lord,
that's everything
that
nowadays.
Seemed like that happened in the AFC title game, the NFC title game. Everything come down to the wire, and you need a kicker. I mean, look at the Bengals; they went to the Super Bowl because of their kicker.
Well, we're all old enough. And I know Jerad remembers it and you remember it. But back in the early 2000s, late 90s, if a team was up by 3 points with 2 minutes left, it was pretty much over.
Yeah.
And now
And
you can beat.
And you had good field goal kickers then too. I mean, Adam Vinatieri, had a Hall of Fame career, because he kicked until like he was like 45,
Mm-hmm.
and he won Super Bowls with his kicks and stuff. But, he was playing for either Tom Brady or Peyton Manning for the most part. So that helps a little bit.
Yeah, when you got those two on your team, it makes your job easier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But guys, I think we've had enough for today. I'm going to sign us off right here. I thank everybody for listening. Continue to support the show. Remember, everybody, to share the show with your friends. Look us up on YouTube. We're there with this video version of the show. You have to forgive me for my technical difficulties. Living in Alabama, the internet isn't the best. But next week, we'll be doing a more in-depth look at the draft and maybe some of the other players from the other rounds. And maybe talk a little bit about the XFL. They had some news coming out this week. But we appreciate you listening and your continued support, and we'll see y'all next time.